cannot take this anymore. Saying everything I've said before. All these words, they make no sense. I find bliss in ignorance. Less I hear, the less you say. You'll find that out anyway. Just like before. Everything you say to me says me one step closer to the edge, and I'm about to break. I need a little room to breathe, 'cause I'm one step closer to the edge. I'm about to break. I find the answers aren't so clear. Wish I could find a way to disappear. All these thoughts, they make no sense. I found bliss in ignorance. Nothing seems to go away. Over and over again. Just like before. Everything you say to me says me one step closer to the edge, and I'm about to break.
Need a little room to. Oh, what is going on, guys? Welcome to Career Retrospective of Off the Top Media. In one of our most anticipated episodes that us here at Off the Top Media, Rivet City Radio, have been looking forward to. Unfortunately, tonight, Nate is out sick. I am your host, Shadow. Joining me tonight, Metal Mike and Sean B. What is going on, guys?
What is up? I'm excited for this one. Super excited for this one.
Debuting a new first look for tonight's episode. Had to do it for my boy Chester.
Yeah, it's going to be an emotional roller coaster episode. Now, we all know how the show kicks off. Nate goes over the outline with everybody. I don't want to do it tonight. I've graciously asked Mike to be the speaker of this. So, Mike, when you're ready, take it away.
Alrighty, so just to give y'all a trigger warning here, there will be discussions of drug use, sexual assault, and suicide in this podcast. If you are sensitive to these topics, please leave now. So to get started with information here on Chester Bennington. Chester was born in Phoenix, Arizona on March 20th, 1976. Bennington was born to a mother who was a nurse and a father who was an investigator of child sex abuse crimes. Citing Depeche Mode and Stone Temple Pilots as inspiration, he always longed to be a musician and dreamed of becoming a member of Stone Temple Pilots. More on that later. From age 7 to roughly 13, Bennington was repeatedly sexually assaulted by an older male friend, keeping it a secret from the entire time. He eventually informed his father years later, but chose not to press charges. His parents were divorced when he was 11, and this impact of that, along with the continued sexual abuse, led Bennington into a deep depression at an early age. In high school, Bennington began abusing alcohol, LSD, cocaine, meth, opioids, and other street drugs. At age 17, his mother discovered his drug use and confined him to the house at all times unless at school. Shortly after high school, he began to pursue a music career, forming bands called Sean Dowdell and His Friends and Gray Days. He then met a group that went by the name Zero and later by the name Hybrid Theory in the year 2000. They again changed their name to Linkin Park and released their first album titled Hybrid Theory after the band's previous moniker. Linkin Park consisted of Chester Bennington at lead vocals, Mike Shinoda, who was a producer and co-lead vocals, Brad Delson, who was the guitarist, Dave Farrell, who was on bass, Joe Hahn, who was the DJ, and Rob Borden, who was on drums. From the year 2000 to 2017, they released 7 studio albums and sold over 100 million while producing several chart-topping hits. Linkin Park is the only artist with 2 songs on Spotify's timeless list, with Numb and In the End cracking the top 10. From 2013 to 2015, Bennington achieved his dreams of joining Stone Temple Pilots, serving as their lead singer in this time period. Past Saturday, and a band that's inspired by Linkin Park, From Ashes to New, was the headliner. And literally, you went through regular security where they pat you down, and then ticket scanning security. They scan your ticket, and check you again. 2 forms of security to go into the show.
It's unfortunate that we've got to that point where we can't even go and enjoy a show because of stupidity. But that's a different topic.
Yeah.
All right. What do we got next, sir?
So our next one here is how did Chester Bennington's death impact you and what he meant to you as a fan?
Okay. I'll start this one unless you want to, Mike. But like I said, and I said this before a few minutes prior here, he got me through my dad dying. He got me through breakups and stuff like that. Very instrumental throughout my teenage years during my, my shitty lifestyles and all that. And I still to this day am very inspired by Chester, knowing full well he's not around anymore. But just listening, like now with him passing, you listen to certain songs and you hear the message he's trying to relay.
Yeah.
And it still sits with me to this day. As of like you said, you came out of a bathroom. I was driving at the time, and I believe my sister was with me at the time. And she read it, I think it was Twitter or Facebook, whatever it was. I had to pull over for a minute and be like, no, that's not true. Because I just, like you, I just found out there's a tour coming and all this. They weren't coming to Canada, but it was, all this information was dropping. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this is going to be we're going to get some new music soon. So I pulled over and all that. And it hit me hard where I was taking my sister to work, and she had to be there in 10 minutes. She ended up going in late because I just couldn't bring myself to move.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, obviously I've made it pretty clear that, being a musician myself, well-formed musician myself, his vocals were an inspiration to me, but his death impacted me to the point where, and I'm very open about this now, but beforehand, I wasn't a very open person about my mental health. Now people know about my depression and my anxiety and what I go through on a daily basis, not just a weekly, not just, it's a daily basis. I have my days where I don't want to get out of bed. I just want to lay with my dogs. I have my days where I don't want to leave my room. And I have my days where I don't want to leave my house. And some people it took to really study their music after his passing to know what he was writing about. Where me, with what I was going through, I knew what he was writing about. I seen it. It was just hard for me at the time to say, hey, this is why I relate to their music so much. Now, his passing really helped me be comfortable talking about and opening up about things that, I'm going through mentally. Even if I have a bad day. And I say this, I appreciate the people that listen to me, even if they're not listening. I just appreciate the ear. Even if people don't care about what I'm saying, you're still listening. To me, you're listening. And that's all I need. It's just to get it off my chest for 1 minute. And it's helpful. And that's why I try to help, other people and encourage them to not be afraid to talk. That's why when I hear people that I'm close to, people that I care about, people that I love, when I hear they're going through things, I always say, my ears are always open. Don't be afraid to hit me up. Call me, text me. If you're in driving distance and you need to talk in person, come talk to me. Don't be afraid. Because we all need just open ears to talk to. And that's impacted me.
Yeah, mental health is no joke. And Sean, before you go, I just want to I don't know if Joe is in here. He's a good friend of mine. Recently reconnected with him. Me and him developed a friendship based around the world of hockey, but we also had a common interest in Linkin Park. And I remember me and him going back and forth, like, this isn't true. This isn't true. Like, and it was crazy. And then later that year, in 2017, I finally opened up about my own, like you. I finally opened up about my own problems. Like, I held back a lot. And I'm not going to get too deep into it because it's not the time for it. But, like, I opened up more than most people were willing to, you know. What's up, Joe? You know what I mean? So, I get where you're coming from on that. And mental health is something that Chester, for our generation, opened that door to in passing, unfortunately. But, you know.
The one thing I will say, and I'm sorry, Sean. I just want to kind of get this out real quick. The one thing I do have to say is for people that don't understand it and don't, I guess the word would be understand. And for the people that aren't educated on the full lengths and impact of mental health, by all means, I don't hold anything against people that don't understand it and aren't educated. But take the time, because you never know if you have a friend who's sitting right next to you that might need you to talk. Just need you to have that open ear, just for them to talk about anything that's on their mind. So I try to encourage. That's the one thing I would encourage is the people that aren't educated, educate a little bit, because it is a very serious matter. And we still have a lot of people out there that are not educated and think it's a joke.
Sorry, Sean. We got off a little deep topic there.
Yeah, for me, when I found out, I was actually in college. I was doing college radio courses where I'd have to make radio shows every week. Every college class I was in, I'd have to make a radio show. And I found out I had a planned show already for music, because that's what I was doing. I was doing music shows, and I scrapped it. I scrapped all of it, and I was like, "This is going to be a Chester Bennington Linkin Park show. We're going to do nothing about Linkin Park. I'm going to talk about Chester." And it was actually one of our, best shows that we've done. And for me, like you said, mental health, like, I was not open back then, really. And even now, more than ever, since Mom passed away, I've been a lot worse, but I've been talking about it. I've been talking to people about it. I've been talking to close friends and family, and like, I've even said to people, like, I've somehow garnered insomnia now. Like, I don't go to sleep till like 5 a.m. Then I end up sleeping all day. Today has been the first time since, I think, Monday I've been out of my house. And but Chester has, he always helps me when I put him on. So,
and like you said, you have, you deal with your depression in your way. Unfortunately, a lot of people think, oh, depression is just people moping around, sad. No, we can be very high functioning people, but there is a lot of signs to it. Like Sean just alluded to, that he sleeps all day. That's not good for your rhythm in your body. It does mess with your depression even more.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're
let
not
me
getting
ask,
outside. You're not seeing the sun. You're not up. That's why they say, like, when you're dealing with depression, just kind of do one task at a time. Like, make your bed, and suddenly your brain's feeling a little bit better. It's not the answer, right, but it just helps.
When I'm manic and I get shit done, and then I start to feel, okay, I did something, but I was manic, but it still made me feel better than laying in bed all day.
Exactly.
I will say this. Monday was my bad day. Like a really, really bad day for me. I laid around, I slept with my dogs all day. I got up, I did things like, if I had to use a bathroom, I did that. I took my dogs out. I went outside for a few minutes, but after that, I would come right back inside, lay down. And if I fell asleep, I fell asleep. It was just a really bad day for me. But And Tuesday, I would have done the same thing if I didn't have to force myself to go to work. I try and find things, and I say this at my age of 37 years old. I know I should be a lively person. I know I should be, out and about doing things, all that stuff. But it's not an easy thing to do sometimes. You know, you got to sometimes try and find things. I always say there's not many things that get me excited anymore. But ever since being a part of this has lit a flare under me. It's lit a fire under me. And I'm excited about something again. I'm excited to be a part of things like this where we can sit and talk about, careers of artists, wrestlers, anything that we talk about. I'm excited to be on Sunday mornings talking football. I'm excited to be on Sunday nights talking wrestling. I'm excited to be on trivia nights. That gets me excited. For a long time though, I didn't have anything that got me excited.
Right. Like, even if it's something as small as like getting up and taking a shower for the day, you got to say, okay, I'm proud of myself. I got up and at least took a shower, not have a day stink or whatever. Because even though if you don't, it's completely fine. We totally understand. But like, be proud of yourself for the small things you do.
Yep.
In your depressive state. Like for me, I always feel better after a shower, no matter what. And then I go and talk to our friends and play Fortnite with them or whatever, and
ignore Shadow.
and then like Mike says, I get excited for podcasts. I'm like, get up, do our podcast. Next week, I'm going to be sponsoring a wrestling match. I'm going to send the payment tomorrow, and I'm going to be sponsoring a wrestling match with one of my friends in the main event, which is awesome. So,
while we're on the subject of the mental health, before we go into the next subject matter, I've been burnt out lately mentally, and it's by no fault of Sean or Will or Scowls or Mike or anybody. Every time around this time of year, this will be year 6, and then January will be year 18. Like, it's a very 2 hard months for me. My grandma passed away at the beginning of December in 17, and my dad passed away at the end of January in 06. So between December and January, I kind of go into a weird somber, and it's nothing of anybody. I know it's coming. I feel it coming, and I always try to warn people. So if I ever seem off with you guys who is watching, or you guys within the company ourselves, it's not you. I'm just dismissive of everything. Mm-hmm. Like, Christmas is coming up. I could give a fuck. Like, I don't care. I do it for my kids.
Yeah, it's okay to feel like that, because this year, especially with Thanksgiving a couple weeks ago and Christmas coming up, I don't give a fuck, because I lost.
You're in the mental state of all the firsts right now, which is going to be extremely hard.
Right.
Yeah. My whole just holiday careness alone went away back in 2017.
When it came to Christmas, it was my dad and my grandma's favorite time of year.
Yeah.
And they're both gone. And to me, that's why it doesn't mean anything to me. And this is getting a little personal, which I don't typically do. My daughter, I don't know why or how, or I don't understand it. And I don't try to, because I just love it. But the mannerisms she carries, certain looks she does, certain ways she says things, it just takes me to a place where my nan is alive and talking to me. But it's my daughter.
Yeah.
Like little ambiances that she does, just, it messes with me. Because like, I have a bear that has my grandmother's voice in it that was gifted to me by my wife a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, my daughter has never met my grandmother, because my grandmother passed 2 years or a month before my daughter was born. And she heard that. She goes, "Oh, that's Gigi." And I'm like, and my boys don't talk about her.
Mhm.
I don't typically speak much about her because I don't. It's just the way I am. And it threw me. It literally threw me that she knew my grandmother's voice. But I'm going to end up getting emotional. So
I will say this one real quick. They do say that kids when they are younger, they and this kind of goes in the realm of belief and disbelief, whether you believe in this or not, but kids when they're younger, their senses are very heightened, and they also are able to